Welcome to the heart of the matter.
You're welcome.
They didn't already start cutting up. So check it out. Where we have vulnerable and honest conversations about life and relationships. Now here's the deal. Don't think you're gonna come out here, be on here with your clothes on. We getting buck naked. Okay?
Pause.
Well, okay, it's none but men out here, so let me correct that.
Come on,
somebody done already hit me with the
Hey
pause.
man, I'll be back.
What I'm saying is we transparent. I'm your boy Christopher Dockery, relationship and life coach. To my immediate right, I have one of two celebrities, stars of the broadcast. That would be Charles Pookie Oliver.
Yo.
I'll skip over, and we got Joey the Eric Hill.
In the place to be.
Yeah, our other star celebrity. I'm just here. And then we have the illustrious minister
Wow.
of the Gospels,
Wow.
Christopher Michael Surratt. I'm doing middle names.
What up, good people?
I'm doing, hey, Surratt, I need you to know that you are in the midst of stars.
Hey,
Yeah,
man,
yeah. So you're blessed.
I'm used to it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you
yeah.
are.
You
You are.
blessed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because Poop Joy, y'all were told recently that y'all stars of the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I didn't
How did that feel?
Oh, it was different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I-
Well,
yeah,
no, I
really,
know.
really.
Like just randomly, somebody said, like, or was it an email?
Y'all
or
want
something?
you want to get into the story?
No, you
Who
can go
told you?
ahead because
Yeah,
it's
no. I
very
was talking to
uncomfortable for
Godmother,
me.
and she said, they the stars of the program.
Well, you know, Reed. It was
Shut up.
wonderful talking
Anyway,
to her.
listen. So last episode that we did, and it was great. I think we got into some nuts and bolts. We got a lot of positive feedback. A lot of and this is what we said we wanted. We wanted guys to be like, hey, I'm going through that. Thanks for talking about this.
Right.
But you put stuff out, you never know what you're gonna get. How did y'all feel about that positive feedback?
It really felt good to hear other guys really saying that.
Well, hold on before I say that. One of
okay.
the positive things is that you cried like a baby. Okay, so how did that feel? Because somebody said Pook is not an emotional guy
Right.
at all.
Right.
So for you to display that vulnerability, in all seriousness, that's been part of the positive feedback, and you as well, Joey. So go ahead.
No, it was. It's been good. It's really been insightful to hear how other guys and women, especially from men, saying they need to hear it, they need to see it. Topics that they've been wanting to hear about, or wanting to discuss, and then hear us be vulnerable about it. So it's been.
Were you surprised?
Yeah, I really was.
Why?
Because guys don't open up and talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, very surprised about it.
All right. Why you looking like that, Surratt?
Only because I know us. We've always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
I know we know each other, so it's hard to imagine that
That guys ain't
that
talking about it.
dudes ain't talking about it. So
Okay.
it's that's what the look was for.
Okay. Joey, how you felt about the feedback?
On the positive stuff, I really felt it was good and encouraging. I also noticed how when somebody wasn't responding positive,
Oh, you want to go straight there?
and then I had then another
'Cause I was
dude.
talking about positive,
They
but
was
all right.
going tit for tat, saying, "Well, no, he's coming from." He said, "Nah, he ain't." But no, you got to understand, and that felt real
well,
good.
let's be clear, because they were specifically talking about you.
Yeah. Why you say it like that? They were specifically talking about you.
It's in life. Remember life?
Yes,
And
yeah.
it's like, you going to eat your cornbread. I think he's talking to you. So
I don't want my
the
cornbread.
Christmas clip,
Yeah,
whole
Yeah.
didn't get nothing for Christmas, whatever.
Yeah.
It was a lot of feedback about that,
Mm-hmm.
and so apparently,
You soft.
you should that too, but you shouldn't even be celebrating Christmas. That was a big one,
Man.
Pagan worshiper, you.
I was told I was soft. You said I shouldn't be celebrating Christmas. You read your book, executive, wherever
Yeah,
you had
whatever
to,
that scripture is.
and then I'm up here like you really kind of missed the whole point.
Facts.
And some people said that.
And so, but I do appreciate the individuals who came and said things, and they were going back and forth when it was you're missing the whole picture. And
But ultimately, that's what we do: spark the conversation, good or bad.
Absolutely.
right, exactly. So it was so much feedback, and I would say positive feedback, that as I was scrolling, it never stopped. It
it's
just
still
kept
going.
going. It just kept going until I literally, after 15, 20 minutes, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop. So, but yeah, it was real good. But the negative stuff, and I know, like you said, we're gonna jump into that. I can tell there's a lot of guys out there hurt, even from the normal responses of, oh, this dude, this nigga soft. He this, he ain't. Obviously, there's some issues that you dealing with. So, it goes back to a part we said before. It's not me. It's not about me. So, but yeah, it was real good.
So, okay, the fact that some people said, as a man, you shouldn't even be expecting
Right.
anything
that
for
too,
Christmas.
yeah.
It's your job to just provide for your family. And why are we expecting anything? But isn't that, I mean, using that figuratively, I know we're talking specifically about Christmas, but ain't that part of the problem that you go and you're expected to go and go and go and go
Without being
and not
filled up
receive
or nothing.
anything?
Exactly. And tell me in a word where it says that.
Yeah, I don't have scripture and verse. For
Me
that.
neither.
Yeah.
So, but also, we as men, we will get exhausted. We will pass out. We will come to a point when you hear about a man cracking or he snapped and stuff. Women snap. They even made a show.
I do know the scripture says a servant is worth his hire.
That,
So you
there
should
go.
deserve.
So you
expect
deserve
it.
something.
Exactly.
Even a
Expectation.
servant deserves something.
Right. Right.
So even from that, I know it wasn't something that I took personal, but yeah, just if they read and listened to the whole thing, they can understand how, man, it was a messed up moment. It was a messed up situation as well.
I guess with that though, my thought, my question would come to any of us, to me, to say, where does that thought process come from? From men, almost like men ain't supposed to cry.
Oh, I mean, come on, that's
No,
how-
meaning, if there's a lot of men. There's even us sitting here that have not all been raised with both parents. So it's not like it's been taught from what we saw, right?
Right.
Somewhere along the line, that's been picked up to say, men aren't supposed to do this. Try to show emotion. Try to be vulnerable. Try to talk about stuff. It's always supposed to be you're on at all times. So it's like, where is that coming from?
I mean, men historically, when you talk about chivalry, you know, we're supposed to lay down our lives for women. When we talk about chivalry, with no concern for
Us.
our lives, you know, so that idea is historical. I mean, it's inbred in the way we are reared as men in society, whether we have fathers, whether we listen. If you go to school and you are a young boy and you don't play football, what's the first thing they want you to do? It's to play football.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You supposed
Look
to be
how big
hard.
you are,
Come on,
boy.
come
You
on,
need to be on
bigger,
the on the line or something.
Yeah. If you tall, you gotta be competitive. So if you
gotta be a dog.
If you in the 8th grade and you 6 foot, everybody's expecting you to be competitive on that basketball court.
Right.
Because
Right.
why else are you here, boy? Man, young. You know, so we're reared like that, and it's unfortunate. I met this the other day. I saw this guy. He was 6'10", tall, and I was like, "Please tell me you play basketball for somewhere."
Automatically.
And he was like, "You know what? I never liked it." And even to my detriment, I thought in my mind, like, dang, that's a waste. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like, man, he wastes all that height. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's just how historically society has reared men to be aggressors, to be, don't show emotion. If you fall, don't cry. Even if you fall and break your leg, you ain't dry your
Man up.
man up,
Right.
man up. And women, I believe, like the idea
That you suck it up.
that we suck it up, that we man up until we're too much man
To deal with.
to deal with.
Yeah, I mean that was what I was kind of getting to, because it ain't just from men, right? Because you hear some women say, "I need a man that's hard."
Yeah.
Reed or Joey.
Yeah, I want to know if somebody walk up talking crazy, you gonna slap him in the mouth, punch him in the mouth.
Because he's vulnerable, because he did cry. It could come across like, "Nah, Joey ain't no man's man.
He's soft.
He's soft."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So the idea is just not from women. It's also just not from men, because we have expectations within ourselves also.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to some women have this, he too soft. He too soft.
So where is the balance? Like, okay, where do you get the permission to, okay, I got to be a dog on the football field, I got to dominate on the basketball court, all of that. But when appropriate, yeah, I cry. Let me say this. Surratt. Now, let me say this. Surratt and I, we've been best friends from like when we were in our 20s, like me and Joey and Poot, as well. So I've seen Surratt through a lot. He's seen me through a lot. We've grown up together, basically. One of the things I've always admired about you is you could cry. Like you and another good friend of ours, Chris McNeil, but we were in our early 20s, man, you could cry, but it wasn't weak. Because I also know that you had growing up a reputation of being nice with these. Hey, if we need to, we're going to do what we need to do. So it wasn't about a punk. How were you comfortable with that? Because I couldn't do, at that time, when we were younger, in our 20s, I couldn't do that. I wasn't vulnerable enough to cry in front of other guys without feeling like there's something wrong with me. How come you was able to do that?
I mean, honestly, I don't know. I probably was just being who I was. You know what I'm saying? I just grew up in an environment within a family where I had to hold a lot in growing up. So it became necessary that at the time that you and I met, that I surround myself with people that I didn't have to hold anything in with. Because, there was a certain level of comfort that I had with you all based upon what we had went through in a short period of time of knowing each other, that let me know, these guys, they are my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So ain't no need for me to hold anything in around them. I became nice with my hands as a result of holding it in. You know what I'm saying? Because really, a lot of the times I wanted to cry. I wanted to be like, nigga. Can we say nigga? Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
He said, mother, please.
Right. I wanted to say, why are you treating me like this? Why are you hurting me?
Mm-hmm.
But because of whomever was my opposition at the time, I didn't feel comfortable enough being that vulnerable. Then I just got to knock you out.
And you think, okay, is that easier for our young black boys to go that route where they probably would want to express the vulnerability of the bad situation, but then it just becomes easier just to knock somebody out?
It's
lash
not
out.
only easier.
It's expected.
It's expected.
Yeah.
It's expected.
So with that, to answer that question, I think it would be harder for the generation now to be able to come around a group of, like, some cats later to say, around these dudes, I don't have to be like that. I think, in my opinion, it would take them much longer time before they realize, okay, now I can kind of let my guard, because you basically got a guard up.
Yeah.
And then if I can let my guard down enough and let it down more and more and more, I just think it'd be tougher. It can be done, but it'd be tougher. Especially-
And the levels are different now. I mean, come on. All I had to do was knock a nigga out to feel for you to feel what I'm feeling. Today you gotta shoot a nigga. You gotta kill him for them to cry. That's what they're crying out. Think about how much is in you
Right.
that in order for it to be released, that energy that's in you to be released, you gotta kill somebody.
Right.
That's a whole lot, bro.
That's a whole next level.
That's a whole and I believe the kids today, the young men specifically today, are not only dealing with what they're dealing with in this generation, they're dealing with what we didn't deal with in our generation. Because we passed that along.
True.
Ouch.
We gave that to them.
For sure.
So now they got double for their trouble. You know what I'm saying? Just like we had double for our trouble. We had to deal with that's why we love our families.
Yeah.
We want to see our families taken care of. We want to be the men, quote unquote, that most of our fathers weren't.
Right. Yeah.
That's a nice segue.
Real talk.
That's a nice segue because one of the things we do here on Heart of the Matter is we've all shared how our upbringing has had an impact on how we showed up in our relationships, our marriages, as dads, the whole 9 yards. And you, Surratt, I know your story very well, but how did your upbringing shape you as a dad and a husband? Take us back to, because you said the reason I was good with these is because I was dealing with a lot. So take us through that, what that was like for you.
I mean, a lot of it, most of it is the story of the average black African-American male in America. My father, my biological father, excuse me, my biological father, I knew, grew up. He knew me. He called me son. I called him dad. Right?
Yeah.
But he didn't live with me.
Did you feel a way about that?
I didn't feel a way when I was a kid.
Okay.
It didn't manifest itself. Well, I think I didn't feel a way, but it was internalized somehow and manifested itself in other ways when I became older, right?
Got you.
So, so I always knew who my dad was, loved him to death. He would, when I would go back home to Arkansas, where he lived, he would take me fishing, buy me things and all the stuff dads are supposed to do.
Right.
He did it when I was present.
Right.
And some of the time, not all the time, but when I was present, he was definitely a dad. So I didn't feel fatherless, right? Mm-hmm. No, I didn't feel dadless, right? So my mother ended up getting married to my stepfather, and who was in the Air Force, and I ended up moving to West Germany at the age of 10, and he was a great guy with a lot of issues of his own.
Yeah.
That manifested itself in alcoholism.
Okay. I know about that.
And
My dad.
I remember being, I think that's why I'm very intuitive about my space today. And when I come into a restaurant, I know I can see everything. I know everything.
Facts.
I know I can feel everybody's energy. I know, okay, this nigga don't mess with him because he's wild. Why this nigga? It's July. Why this nigga got on a long coat? I don't get it.
Right.
Let's go. I'm like that because I used to have to come home from school and I would have to literally check the temperature of the house, like before I walked in. So I would come home, got my book bag and everything on my back, but before I opened that door, I would stand there. I would listen.
How old were you around this time?
10, 11.
Okay.
Listen, what's going on? Okay. Did I hear bottles clinking? I hear bottles clinking or cans rattling, he drinking. Okay.
Okay.
If I heard jazz music, it's gonna be a good day.
night.
All right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good day. I hear jazz music, I can walk in. But if I heard any rustling, any bottles clinking, then he's dealing with something that he's going to take out on me or my mom.
Okay.
So I would have to make a decision either to go in or not go in after school, 2:00. So some days I wouldn't go. I would go to what in Germany we had what we call the AYA, which was typically like the boys' club, where we call it American American Youth Association. So I would literally, on some days, not go in there and go to the AYA until it closed at 10:30. I've been out of school since 2:40,
Wow.
3:00.
Wow.
Your mom wasn't even like.
My mom knew where I was.
Okay, she knew.
She knew what it is. You know what I'm saying? So then I would go home. By the time I got home, hopefully he was asleep, ready to go to work or whatever. But if not, it was going to be a rougher night because now my mom is subject to whatever he's going through. So seeing that as a kid,
So as much as you're comfortable with sharing, what would a bad night look like?
look like, I don't know.
Okay.
Because I would be in my room with the door closed. Sound like
Yeah.
my mom crying, her eyes out.
Young man in a place, I think young man wants to protect mom, especially in a situation like that. But as a child, you feel powerless. Okay. If you felt that way, how did you process that? In this house, I have no control. He runs all of this, and I'm subject to his moods any particular day. How did you manage those emotions?
I managed that by controlling my environment,
What did that look like?
not coming home.
Okay.
The only way I can control my environment is control my environment. I couldn't do nothing with him. So a lot of times, I mean, it was not uncommon for youth on an Air Force base. We would be out all hours of the night. I'm talking about 11 years old because we were on a confined Air Force base. We had military police circling every 5 seconds. Wasn't nothing gonna happen to us. So my mom was kind of like, I know he's out there playing with his friends and this, that, and the third, but she didn't know I was avoiding. Feel me? At the same time, yeah, I had fun playing with my friends, but I was also avoiding coming home. But what that did ultimately as an adult is...
before we go there,
Okay.
the fighting, okay? Did the home environment play a role in the fighting?
Well, me growing up, like, fighting a lot was not necessarily about... you know what? It may have been. It was just about, like, I didn't like bullies.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like people who bullied other people. Probably internally because I felt like my stepfather was bullying my mother and bullying me.
Yeah.
So I took a disdain to bullies. I would be the guy that if I don't care who was fighting, if I felt like somebody was losing too much, I'm about to jump in and help the dude that's losing. Because I don't like, you see he down, leave him alone.
Okay.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, yeah.
You got your lick. Now you hitting him too much. Now I got to show you what it really is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe that was a part of that. But really, a lot of the fighting, and I won't say, it sounds like I was fighting every day, but I really wasn't.
Here comes a rock.
Right. This nigga.
Throw blows.
No, it was really more or less that when I'm a Libra too, I got a long fuse.
Okay.
But when it's done,
It's done.
it's a wrap.
Done. Yeah.
Yo, you got two Libras on either side of you.
Ain't no pulling us back. Ain't no you didn't. We gave you your time, Bob.
Yeah.
Now you got to feel these.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a lot of it was like, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, you're funny. You cracking on me in front of the cafeteria. All good. Just chill out. Just chill out, man. Chill out. Okay, now I gotta show you.
Okay.
But the fighting really wasn't. It was protective, but I don't know if it was
Reactive?
reactive.
Okay. All right. You about to say something about how it affected you as an adult. Like, I guess, I don't know if you about marriage. So let's move forward to, okay, now you're in relationships. Now, based off what you saw, we know how you were prepared. Okay, that about the same way, maybe a little different than how the rest of us were prepared, which was not prepared.
Exactly.
How did that? Now I'll say for everybody listening, you've been married 23 years.
23
You
years.
just celebrated 23rd wedding anniversary. Congrats.
Thank you.
That ain't easy.
Not easy.
Nowadays, 5 ain't easy. Okay, so the guy who grows up the way that you grow up, how you make it 23 years, bro?
I got a great wife.
That is a dope
One.
answer that it'll
Goes
get
to
you
that,
some
my guy.
sex tonight.
No. In all honesty, I'm a handful, and I know I'm a handful. So I have to start the conversation off by giving her kudos for dealing with a handful.
Yeah,
You know what I
okay,
mean?
got you.
But ultimately, understanding and the awareness of who I am, being in a handful, and why I'm a handful, and being able to communicate that to her. I remember one incident, particularly that happened when we started dating, and my wife wanted to
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Can we
I
go
remember.
there? You
Can I say it like this?
Can I,
Can I say it like that way?
yeah, right.
She wanted to have
then
relations.
She wanted to have relations, and I was on this whole.
Hey, I told on the podcast, I said how Darlene,
Oh, my
man,
God.
left me at church, bro, on my birthday.
Yeah, she
Right.
just pulled it off because she was mad.
I wouldn't. She wanted to. I told her we couldn't have sex anymore.
right.
Bishop Willie, man, he was
Yeah,
doing
he-
his
he
thing.
beat us up.
He set us on fire in that pulpit, man. I said it, and so I
So
feel it.
we all went to the same church. Bishop Willie. We all sons of Bishop Willie Mitchell. So and Bishop Willie Mitchell was like, "Listen, that ain't what you do. As not in here.
Marry or burn.
You marry or burn." So
straight up.
So when we were, heavily into our belief system like that, I was like, "Hey, dear, listen, playing games. Hey, you can spend the night over at the house because I have my own apartment, but we can't do nothing."
Yeah, yeah.
My wife was like, not having it.
Scriptures say, "Don't hold fire in your bosom."
Yeah, she had it in her bosom, doc. Because one particular night, it all came to a head, and for some reason she jawed me like blah blah.
Oh, she hit you with
hit
the
you?
ones and twos?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God.
She was mad. She was mad.
I was like, oh God. So and I will get back to how I responded when I tell you this. So at the end of that night, I had to call Reed, call Mac, and I think Darlene was with
Yeah,
y'all.
all three. Hey, no. I'm a sweeten the story.
And it was a blizzard.
It was an ice storm. Think of driving on rocks in a cave. That's what it was like. McNeil drove. We drove about 5 to 10 miles an hour the whole way because the road was completely ice.
So I had to call him and be like, "Hey man, you gotta come and get her because this ain't about to go well." So he came and got her and this, that, and the third, whatever. But getting back to the question and the reason why I brought that up is that there have been many times when a lot of our personal interactions, interactions in anger became physical. Like, you would punch me in the chest or kick me and I was like, yo.
I ain't used to this.
No, yo. I mean, a couple of times,
Yeah.
hey,
Just a
you better
natural
chill
reaction.
out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So, and then for my wife, that was like, who the hell are you?
That you would.
Yeah.
Because now she's seeing you as turn into
Yeah.
someone else.
Who are you? So I had to have a conversation with my wife. I said, listen, I was raised in an environment that people who loved each other, who said they loved each other, hit each other all the time. and now they're no longer married. They're no longer together,
So
right?
this is a trigger for me.
I was raised in an environment where if you hit me, you're my enemy. I can't shut that off. I'm sorry. So what I would respectfully ask, you don't put your hands on me. Now, to her, that sounds like, oh, so if I did, what you gonna do? No, that's not what I'm asking you.
Right.
I'm asking you to know me well enough to know that's not something you should do. And what you're telling me is you don't care about who I am when you do that, because you know that's not something you should do to me. Just that's one thing that, you know, when I got married, I had to deal with as a result of
Your childhood.
my childhood. The other thing was my wife, I love her to death. She is a connoisseur of wine. She
Yeah, my wife's a wino straight up.
she I ain't gonna call my wife a wino, but
You know, hey, the sign behind Joey's head, that's why it's here, because I don't drink wine. It's
Right.
nasty to me.
right. So my wife is a connoisseur of wine. She likes all type of wine. She can tell you what bouquet and all that smelling.
Yeah,
She's
the
that
legs on it
yeah,
and all
all
that.
the legs and swirling it around. She do
Yeah.
all that. But when she first started in drinking, buying a lot of wine, I was like, buying all this alcohol. Then I discovered that my relationship was changing with her because I wanted her to stop drinking. I wanted her to be like, no, I don't want that in my house. And
What was it about that drinking?
because I grew up in a
I had the
house.
same problem, bro. When Darlene wanted to drink wine, I was like, nah. But I did it under the heading of that's not what we do as Christians. But I didn't realize my dad was an alcoholic. I saw what it did to my household. That was a trigger for me.
It was
and
a
I'm
trigger,
like,
bro.
yeah.
It was a trigger. And I knew it was a trigger. I was old enough to understand it wasn't about my Christianity or my belief system. It was about what I lived.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had to lay the blame where
yeah, we're
needs to be
alive.
laid.
Yeah.
Now, I also had to understand, and this is me maturing and being much older, that she didn't grow up like that.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
So that was something I can't control her not drinking or drinking based upon the way that I feel about it.
Right.
I have to control the way I feel about it
Right.
and understand that she's not who I grew up with. You know what I'm saying? So all of that, you know, we're rearing and, you know, elements of the way that I grew up begin to manifest itself in my marriage in such a way that even I'm about to get into something. Boy. Yeah,
Let's
God,
go.
I can't
Harder than
stand y'all, man. My wife gonna kill me out here. G.
All right, man.
I got a couch right over there.
But even as it pertains to my children, you know what I'm saying? You know, I think children begin to mirror. I think we as adults, especially our generation of men, we grew up trying to do the right thing, right?
Often true,
We're gonna get the
right.
job. We're gonna take care of the family and this, that, and the third. But it begins to make us think that we got it all together.
Yeah.
Them kids will let you know, nigga,
That you definitely
definitely don't.
not
They gonna do something. They gonna say something
preaching now.
that lets you know, oh, nigga, you thought you was right? Okay.
Okay.
I'm about to show you.
Right.
So,
About
you
to
know,
go halfway across the country.
you know what I'm saying? I got 2 daughters, right? You know what I'm
Same
saying?
kid. Yeah. So
And
do I. So does Poop.
you know, one incident in particular, that made me really, really adjust who I was. It was my wife's niece or nephew. I think it was her niece. birthday, maybe third or fourth birthday. Little niece, great niece actually, and
Little baby.
little baby. So we were all getting ready to go to the birthday party, and my oldest daughter was sitting in the back seat, and my wife was sitting in the front seat. And they had the gift or whatever, and my oldest daughter, I was saying something to her, and she got slick,
With the mouthpiece.
like real slick. And I was like, no, sir, not here.
How old was she?
She's probably like, she's 20, maybe like 15,
Okay.
14.
That's a slick age.
Somewhere in there. But here's ultimately where the problem lied. It wasn't even what she said, right? So I reacted in such a way that made my wife react against me, not against what she did.
So she was being mama bear.
She was being mama bear. So at that point in time, whatever gift we was about to take, I had it in my hand. I was like, y'all can take this gift and y'all can walk to the thing. I was in the car, in the driver's seat. And my wife, in pure fashion, y'all.
Oh, she hit you with the, yeah.
Stole on you.
stole, bro.
She got you at.
In the car. Now get it. We at the house. We outside. We outside, bro.
What you laughing at, Pooh? This ain't funny, man. You got a problem, man.
Whopped on, man.
I am making my wife sound like.
Hey, like in Boomerang, why you got an affliction, man?
Yeah, right. I am making my wife sound like she beat me up every
She's not.
5 minutes.
No. Hey, okay. You want me to put myself in college? I used to get hit in the stomach and all kinds of stuff.
I used to be like,
Hey, Reed.
hey, Reed, you might want to go handle that. Hey, man,
Y'all
we
was
gonna be
there,
over
so
here.
y'all know.
Yeah, I remember.
Now you ain't out there by yourself.
I
Okay.
appreciate that.
My
Yeah,
God.
but she reached across the driver's side to the driver's side, and she caught me. So now we outside, in none of our incidents and none of our arguments ever happened in front of the kids. This is the first time something like that has ever happened in front of my daughter. And I'm like, yo, dust settle. And I'm like, yo, how did I not avoid? How did I create the house I was trying to avoid?
Yes, sir.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How did I do that?
We all have said that.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
How did that happen? Bro, I thought I was doing everything right,
It
B.
was intentional.
I was at every game. I was paying for everything, made sure that this was paid for. Boom, boom,
Not
boom.
drinking.
I was not drinking.
Not doing the stuff that
I
you
wa-
thought
I
was
wasn't-
triggers. Yeah.
I wasn't screwing everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't running around. My wife knew where I was at all times. And I still have the house that I was trying to avoid, or seemingly so. So I had to really confront myself. Like, who are you? And it wasn't so much who was I, because that's what I had been worried about all my life. Now I had to openly be concerned about someone else and who they were, and whether my reaction, because hey, listen, I grew up in the hood, man. You hit me and boom, 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 boom. That's what it is.
Can't handle them kids like that and just
Can't handle the kids like that. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't handle
wifey.
wifey like that.
Exactly. Right.
So now that excuse doesn't work for me. So I had to really dive deep into, like, okay, what work do you need to have done on you to make sure no matter what someone else does to you, that you can respond in a way that's good for you. You see what I'm saying? Because ultimately, the way I was responding created the house that I never wanted. It wasn't good for me, even though I was responding being who I was, right?
Yeah.
So I had to really confront that, man, and that level of vulnerability. I think the ultimate level of vulnerability is being vulnerable to you. Understanding that you have a responsibility to you. So some days I cry by myself. I don't need nobody. I did it was that this morning? Hold on, cuz. Hold on, cuz.
He said it like,
I start crying this morning.
I went in this
No,
morning.
bro, I was listening to what song was I listening to?
Yeah, that'll do.
I was listening to one of them songs, one of them gospel songs. You know, they try to pull on your heartstrings all the time.
Depending on where they find you.
Oh, I was listening to the Walls Group.
Oh, they
Show
got you.
was. I was listening to the Walls Group. If I never get the house, the car, or ever be a superstar, if my dreams never come true, I'll be man, I'm about to go in right now. I'll be satisfied with you.
Yeah.
It's all
I was
right,
like,
brother.
why can't we get there? And the you wasn't God, it was me.
Yeah.
It was me. I wanted to be satisfied with me.
Yeah.
And it's important that we're satisfied with us.
You better take me in right behind you. I'm trying to get.
Bruh, we always looking above.
Right.
Yeah.
Man.
The scripture says the kingdom of God is nigh. It's you. It's
Right.
in you.
Yep. Blaming and playing the victim.
That playing the victim and blaming other people, that ain't got nothing to do with healing.
Nothing.
Nothing at
Oh.
all.
Hey, how much money? What's your cash app, bro?
Nothing to do with healing, bro. It's all about you, bro. It's all about them quiet moments by yourself. When you're confronted with who you are, what you've done,
Oh, yeah.
the shirt you stole.
Oh, come on
Yeah.
now. You can't introduce it and not because let me say this before we go there. You have told me the shirt story is one of the pivotal moments in your life. So can you share the shirt story?
Yeah, so little bit of context. I've been in and around the entertainment industry all my life. Starting even when I was in Germany, I toured Europe with Boney M. Wrote a song called "A Happy Song" with him. It's on YouTube. I wrote it when I was 11. It's on YouTube. Type in Boney M, "The Happy Song." You'll see the video with all my classmates, Patrick and all my classmates in the video. So I've been in and around the entertainment industry all my life. When I graduated high school in 1990, I was getting ready to go on tour with Public Enemy, with a group out of Dayton who was opening up for them by the name of Bonnie and Clyde, Robin and Robin. Y'all remember Robin and Robin?
Absolutely.
So I was a backup dancer for Robin and Robin. Prior to that, I went on Star Search dancing with a group that I grew up with on the Air Force Base. So said all that to say that when it came to go on tour with Robin and Robin, when I came back, I didn't have nothing. I didn't know, I had no direction or nothing. I saw this group at this talent show by the name of Quiet as Kept, and Chris Reed just happened to be in the group, and I was like, man, I really like that group. I want to find out who they are. So just so happened that I was at the mall, Salem Mall, one day, and one of the group members owned a store. And I went to the store and talked to him, and he was like, hey, man, come and audition for the group. So I went to audition for the group, and Chris Reed was there and all of that good stuff. And he looked at me dead in the face in classic Chris Reed fashion and said, why should I let you in my group?
Man, don't say that around these people.
And I looked
He
at
said that for real.
He said that.
Because
I'm dead ass.
he got
Said
a Joey
that.
gonna act
Yeah,
like he got a
something- I got
story.
something too.
Nah, it's always-
And
Yeah.
gonna act like
This
man,
dude-
don't encourage
Yeah,
these
yeah,
cats.
So
I'm
man.
just saying, man.
Yeah, gotta
You
be.
came from Central.
Hey y'all, I'm a nice guy.
Right.
So he said that, and I looked at him like, "Who's this?"
Right. That's what I said. Because I was like, nigga, I ain't need a ride in the first place.
Thank God for maturity,
And,
right?
yeah, thank God for it. He had on glasses, so it wasn't like I was gonna punch him. So, but long story made short, through that experience and being in that group, me and Chris Reed became really close friends. He would pick me up from my house and take me to rehearsal. But because he was at Wright State University at the time, I would have to go to him, Wright State, for his last class before we went to rehearsal. So I found myself on the campus all the time. And Chris and Joey were best friends. So me and him developed a great relationship. Now, backstory. That was the backstory. So at the time, I came from the hustle era. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The mentality like, hey, listen, I'm going to get you.
Before you get me.
Before you get me. So I remember one particular time we was at this party, and I ain't gonna say no names, but a certain person had this leather bomber jacket. Used to date her, but she had a bomber jacket, but it was a dude's bomber jacket.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And this bomber jacket was cold, bro. And I knew it was a man's bomber jacket. So I was like, man, I'm about to. She laid down.
He said, I'm about to scoop that up.
I'm about to woo on that. So I never did that. So we became just as close. Joey and I became just as close as Reed and I. And I remember Joe being over at Joey's crib one day and getting dressed or doing something, getting ready to go somewhere. And Joey is a connoisseur of clothing. I mean, if you don't know, this man, yeah, that's what he does. He dresses.
Yeah.
He had this, I want to say it was a polo or something, a jean shirt in the closet. I was like, man, I'm gonna take this mug and wear it wherever we was going, or wherever I was going that night. But I didn't tell him. I just took it.
He said, I didn't tell him.
ask
Oh,
him.
yeah, I
You
forgot
asked
to
him.
tell you.
No,
I didn't
ask
tell
him
him.
or tell him. I didn't ask or tell. Right. Well, ain't that called stealing?
Yeah,
I think that's what that's called.
I didn't ask him
When
nor
you don't
tell him
ask or tell.
that I was going to get
I
that
think
shit.
that
I went to the store. I didn't ask. I
Or,
didn't tell. I just took.
I just took it. Yeah, nigga, I think that's called stealing.
Yeah.
But so I took the shirt. And so what happened was I had the shirt for a while. And I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was wearing it around her and this, that, and the third. And something had happened where I had went to jail. I don't know what happened. Speeding ticket or something. I didn't pay a speeding ticket or something like that. But I went to jail for on a Friday. And anybody know when you go to jail on a Friday,
Might as well hang it up.
get your knapsack right. You're gonna be there until
whole week.
Monday.
Night.
Go on night. So I got out that Monday, and I'm calling my boys to see what my boys is. You know what we doing, what we getting into. These niggas ain't answering the phone. Let me call them again. And well, let me not
I
do this
remember
because
this, like-
we didn't even have cell phones back then. It was let me get a quarter.
Right.
We didn't have that kind of money.
I think I did have a cell phone though, actually.
Had to pay.
Suitcase
Told you I was,
joint.
yeah. Told you I was out here, but I think I did have that cell phone, B. That's how I called you.
Or was it the big old
And no,
school?
it was the
New
big
Jack
old school
City
one.
joint,
The-
Miami
it was that
Vice.
one.
Yeah.
It was that one. So I called him. Nobody's answering the phone. So let me call B to see what she's doing. She didn't answer the phone call. B was my girlfriend back then. She didn't answer the phone either. Strange.
I remember when we was getting those calls too, man.
Ain't nobody.
I'm
else.
like, man.
No, nobody's answering, B. So I get home. I'm thinking like, oh, they just out doing whatever. So I get home, and I call them again. Nobody answer. All three of them. Nobody's answering that
Remember,
call.
you're the guy with the way you was raised. You always
Oh, I
on
need to
high
know.
alert.
I need to
Yeah,
know,
so
B.
something going on.
And it probably took the second call for me to be like, I don't know what's going on,
Yeah,
but something's going on.
yeah.
So the third time I called, I knew. I was like, something's going on. I don't know. Let me get up to the school and see where everybody is. So I get on the bus or whatever have you. I get up to the school. Y'all know, you remember that?
Yeah, with a Hershey call.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we
That's how-
recognize.
so we used to
acknowledge
go.
each
We used to go in the pit in the what was that called? The woods.
Okay.
The woods. If anybody know about Rice State, was a area where all of the the residential area where all the college students live. So, the buildings were so big. We used to go. We didn't know which building where everyone was, so we would go outside and just do the Hershey call.
Yeah, yeah.
And somebody would come outside. One of them two would come outside, knowing that we were outside. So I came out. I went to the woods. Waiting. Crickets, bro. Nobody came outside. I'm like, oh, this different. It's different.
It's real.
What happened?
You just keep doing it.
No. So I went in. I think what happened was
They're on the strangling.
they found
I think
Chris
your
on
boy
the
out there like having a seizure. Oh, nah, he cool.
floor. He's straight.
He's straight.
So I went to Hamilton Hall, and B was at Hamilton Hall, and it was right when they built the new area downstairs in the student union, and she was eating down there. So went down there, we was talking this, that, and the third. She finally told me, like, listen, did you take a shirt from Joey or something like that? And I was like, by that time, it was so far beyond what, I'm like, shirt? No, I ain't taking no shirt.
It was yours at this point.
It was mine. I wore it to church a couple times. It was mine.
What shirt?
So I'm like, shirt? No. Yeah, Joey said, Joey said you took a shirt from him. And aside from that, let's talk about K.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody else?
Some other girl that,
Somebody somehow had shared with somebody.
Somebody had shared something
was
with somebody.
talking-
Somebody had shared something with somebody that I had.
I think he talking about you.
had some excursion.
You good with that? You the
He talking about
infamous.
Joey.
Yeah.
Hey, that was
So-
the most.
Hey man, then I broke some kind of bro code or something.
Yeah,
That is.
You did.
Yeah.
You did it a
Or is
whole
another
lot.
boy that
I,
you don't
I
believe
guess
in?
I broke a bro code.
Yeah, I don't
Y'all
know.
broke it.
Yeah, it's like,
But
That was a
man.
tell-all moment because we was like, well, I'm just gonna. Hey,
Yeah, your boy out here with. So she was like, let's talk about K. And I was like, and her name ain't K, it's the letter K.
Yeah.
I ain't heard that name.
And I was like, I saw her. But, and I was like, oh, these niggas is wildin'. Oh my God.
They telling
They
everything.
bugging.
Yeah.
Like, nigga, this is not where I'm from, B. We don't do that. Oh my God. So I had to really, that day, long story made short, real long story made really short.
It's funny though.
Hilarious. And that ain't even that hilarious. I had to really, that day, decide who I wanted to be for the foreseeable future, right? Because I was in an environment where everybody was moving towards something, college. They were going somewhere. And I was just here trying to get somewhere else. I was there because of the group, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
The music group. And that was my focus. I wanted to be in Hollywood. I wanted to be in New York.
Right.
So I had to really, I wouldn't even focus on school like that. Like, and thereby not focusing on the fact that I'm in an environment where everybody is really moving towards something.
Right.
Not only is everybody moving towards something, that the people I've chosen to be around on a daily basis are good people. They ain't like the people I came up with. I don't really have to watch my back around these guys. You feel me? I ain't gotta be scared that they're gonna snuff me. You know what I mean? So why do I feel it necessary to treat them like I treated them? And when I say them, not only them, but just the people.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Why do I want to steal a girl's bomber jacket?
Yeah. This ain't even that environment.
This ain't even that environment, B.
Right.
You know? You ain't got to steal nothing. They can show you how to. Parisians is right up the street. You go work with them. So I really had to face who I was at that time, and I remember coming clean to my girlfriend at the time about the excursion that I had, and she accepted me back. Everything was cool. Like not. I ain't gonna say it was like, yeah, you did this, yeah, we were back.
Right.
No, it took some time. But then she was like, basically, you got to go talk to Joey and Chris. To Joey, really. This nigga was just, this nigga was an accessory snitch.
Dry snitching.
I ain't even steal nothing from this nigga. Right. He over here snitching.
Right. He was like, who can I set up?
Right. But she was like, you got to go talk to Joey about this shirt. And this was, over the course of maybe a few days, right?
Yeah.
So went and talked to him and basically really came clean. Like, yeah, I took the shirt. I remember taking it. I probably intended to bring it back, but was like, he don't know it's gone type stuff. So I'm just gonna keep it, which is still dishonest.
Right.
And he was like, oh man, you know what? I just wanted to hear you say it, man. I just wanted to hear you tell me because what that let me know is that I made him feel like he was crazy. You feel me?
Because I wasn't tripping.
Because I had a shirt. I know I had a shirt.
And I know that's my shirt.
Which is the pure definition of what we call gaslighting today.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we were doing stuff like that to each other back in the day. I'm not saying we were, but I'm saying people exhibit that behavior. It just had no title.
Yeah.
So I was gaslighting him, making him pretend like he was crazy, and I knew what I did. So came clean to him, and he was like, nah, man, I just want to hear you say it. We cool, this, that, and the third. And I really didn't have to say nothing to you. I don't think, because I didn't do nothing to you.
He ain't doing it at all.
Just reiterate. I ain't doing
But no, I'm gonna tell you what it was though for him, for Reed though, more than anything, because Reed was real. Both of them was real kind of dogmatic in their belief system.
Oh, absolutely. Religious.
Back in the day,
Very religious.
like super religious. And I think for Reed, it was like, okay, what kind of nigga I'm hanging around that's still, like,
I didn't brought him around.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, who you bringing around sticking my shirt?
type business. So I had to really, talk to him about it because he brought me around. Like it's like the mob. You bring a nigga, you jump.
Right.
Who brought him?
Yeah.
Right.
It's your guy, Tony.
It's your guy. It's your guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna kill him, and I'm gonna kill him. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was that type of business. But once I came clean, and everything, we got back to normal, and it didn't take long. It wasn't like
Nah,
it was like instant.
Yeah.
Everything became normal again, and it really was like, yo, I got some. I'm about to cuss. I got some freaking friends.
Yeah.
No, I got friends, B. Like, oh, shoot. How do I be a friend to friends? So I've always been friends to enemies. And when you're a friend to the enemy, you always got your eye. CBS, nigga, you got one eye open.
Right.
But how do you open your eyes around people who you know is worthy of having, that type of.
How do you let down your
guard,
guard when you don't have to be on guard?
And I had to learn
weird.
how to do that.
Yeah.
So you had said something backing up, right?
And I'm sorry, I'm long-winded. Y'all got
Nah,
me.
nah,
cool. No,
nah,
it's back-
man.
back.
That's what we're here for.
Just going back to you had said something very, very powerful to me. Going into you created the environment that you was trying not to create. And we talk about that dealing with fatherhood, dealing with being a man. Because I shared before that I got married for all the wrong reasons, right, in the past. And not trying to duplicate what my mom and dad had, but trying to do better than what my mom and dad had, right? But at the same time, having no sense of direction on how to even get what they had, but doing it a different way. So going into you sitting and saying, hey, it's about you, right? Like I can say all day long that the reason why I cheated was because this and this and this. But at the end of the day, it ain't got nothing to do with nobody else. It's me, right? It was me. So sitting, and I wanted to ask you guys, like sitting in, growing up, like you were saying, you didn't have the mom and dad, or you may have had to be able to relate to him about the drinking and stuff, right?
yeah.
And then in some sense that made you may have started to turn and be like, I ain't gonna never drink. I ain't gonna never do this. Or Joey would be like, hey, I didn't have this as a father to look up to, so I want to be this type of dad, right? And then you get older and be like, now my daughters are grown, right? It's of age. And you still like, I didn't do all that I knew my dad and them did to not make me have a good relationship with them. I thought I did things better, right? And two things. One thing my mom was, I never heard, we grew up in an environment, I'll say we grew up in an environment to where even if I did not like what my mom and dad or parents was doing, I wasn't about to sit down and question them about it. Like, it wasn't that type of relationship to where I'm like, hey, Dad, let me sit down and holler at you, bro. Like, the way you raising me, I really don't appreciate the things you're doing, right?
Not Joe Jackson.
Right? It was like, so it wasn't never you can sit down and talk to Ma. Duke's like, hey, Ma, why you allowing this to go on in this relationship? You feel what I'm saying? And it's
Yeah.
like, or even like, Joe, Mom, why are you allowing this to go on, this relationship? Because we kids. We don't know till we adult, grown men to be like, dang, I really held a lot in.
Yep.
You know, I don't even want to hijack your question, but as you say that, there was a moment not too long ago, probably maybe 10, 15 years ago, that I resented my mom. Because I was like, I'm 11, B. I'm 12, 10. I can't pick myself up and get myself out of this environment. How come you didn't? I understand you didn't care about you. Nigga, did you care about me?
Right. Yeah, no, real talk.
A lot of people feel that way or have felt that way.
Yeah, right. Because I'm saying that even with,
Because you're like, you could send me to live with some aunts.
You could have sent me
something.
back, B.
could have did something, right? Because as a man, I mean, as kids, we like, I'm not drinking because of what I seen was going
Facts.
on.
Facts.
I don't want my wife to drink because what I seen was
Had
going on.
that devastating impact.
But on the opposite end, it's like with me and my daughters, I got two older daughters also. So it's like,
know.
no matter how you try to, I'm saying the girls, it's like no matter how you try to be dad, protective, you're there at everything, you showing up, right? My thing was always, my dad was preaching. He was a pastor. So he couldn't be at all my games. He couldn't be on, you know what I mean? He wasn't at everything. So for me, I'm like, bump that. I don't care what I'm
gonna
doing.
be
I'm
at
at
everything.
everything, right? Because I want to represent what I felt I didn't get. So doing everything we thought to do was right. And you get old enough and be like, it still didn't turn out the way.
But it ain't supposed to. Because the truth of the matter is, I've always hated the junior. The idea of naming someone junior.
blocks them in.
Because that person that's born is uniquely them. They have nothing. I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're a problem.
I didn't say I hated you personally.
No.
But that person, and you put your stamp on that spirit, that entity.
Yep.
And basically you said, I want this person to be and grow up and do and act like I did. That person
or
ain't
have some
you.
elements of that.
Yeah. So I think a lot of the times we get confused between rearing children and raising them.
Okay.
So, in my estimation, raising a kid is like you raise a crop. You plant a seed, right, of corn. You go outside, you water the seed of corn. If you do everything right, the corn is going to grow straight up. It's going to have
Stalks.
Stalks.
whatever.
it's predictable.
Yeah.
Kids aren't predictable like that.
Whoa.
You plant them, but nigga, they might grow sideways on your tail. So now guess what you got to do? You got to rear that. If you ever seen a plant that grows like this,
Get a stick.
you go get a stick.
Yeah. Tie it
You
around.
tie it around and you straighten them back up. That's what raising kids is about. It's about rearing them. It's about readjusting them. It's not about the strong movements. It's about the slight movements you do for them. It's not about the wide turns. It's about, oh no, you ain't got to turn now. Come back. See, a lot of times when we see our kids going down the wrong direction, we want to jerk them back left. That causes accidents. Do that on the highway.
Hang it up.
Overcorrect on the highway.
But how can we forget that we grew sideways?
I don't think we forget we grew sideways. I think what we don't realize is we didn't have people to correct. So we grew sideways and we learned how to drive or live sideways.
We had to figure it out.
We had to figure it out.
Figure it
We
out.
had to figure out how to get back straight.
Because now I ain't gonna say we helicopter parents, but we way more involved in our kids' life than our parents ever were. They gave us food, water, and shelter. And a little guidance.
But you know what? In all seriousness, in all honesty, I have to say this. And I don't know if I speak directly for all of us, but I know I can say this for me. My parents, stepdad, dad, and mom did the best they knew how to do.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing
Exactly.
my mom always said.
Ditto.
Yep.
I agree.
They did the
wholeheartedly.
best they could.
No-
So
no
I
diss
hold
at all.
no ill will
No.
toward none of them. They
No.
listen. When I walk in my house, when I get in my car, and I had to tell my mom one time. Me and my brother, I got a younger brother. My brother has 6 kids. He's living really well, and I do okay. And my mom, a lot of the time, she has these problems with thinking that I should have did this. I should have did. She lets what she didn't do kind of affect her. And I always tell my mom, I'm like, look, Mom, regardless of what you did, look at us.
Yeah, we all right.
We good, B.
Yeah.
Look at your grandkids, bro.
Yeah.
You did the best you know how to do, and God did the rest, and we all right.
We all right. Yeah.
So I have to say that because I don't want to make this session sound like I'm bashing any of my stepfather. I told my brother, I was like, I can't wish anything about that man. In actuality, I have to thank him because I wouldn't have my wife without him. He brought me here.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
It was him.
Yeah.
Him in my life brought me to Dayton, Ohio. So I can't wish him out. Too many important things are attached to him.
That's so deep. That's the forgive them for they know not what they do.
They don't know, bro.
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. I got through that, B. I'm cool.
But that says a lot about your healing. For you to even be able to articulate that, we talk about this on here. So
I'm sorry, I did hijack your question.
Are you good?
No,
You
no,
good?
it's
No,
what
it's
we
good. It's
do.
good. Yeah, it's good.
He wasn't talking about nothing, no way. So, did you do counseling? Did you therapy? We talk about that, how effective it is or isn't. What What helped you to get to this place of healing?
And let me say this first of all, I'm nowhere near where I was, but I'm nowhere near where I want to be.
Okay, we all are
so
on that journey.
The idea of I don't want anybody to think that listen, I still got issues, nigga. I still have to stop myself in my mentality from saying, nigga, no, leave that there.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, I'll go through a drive-through and I have to be aware. I'll go through a drive-through and get food or something, and maybe they'll give me an extra 10 back that they shouldn't give me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back. Let me get this back.
Mm-hmm.
Only because I don't want that on me.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
This $10 ain't worth nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I had to put that out there. But honestly, no counseling. I've had counseling. Me and my wife have had marital counseling, but no counseling in terms of talking to professionals. Shameless plug. The only people I talk to are y'all.
I was just about to say, we are such each other's therapists.
Facts.
I mean, I think our squad, I think we run real different, man, because majority of our conversations and have been over the last 15, 20, 25 years, each one in some way is its own session. We talk
Right.
about
Yep.
real stuff almost this is what this is kind of birthed out of. Us doing this is just an extension of the real conversations we have all the time.
And it's funny because when I told my wife I was doing doing the podcast today, she was like, "Just pretend like y'all know it's going to be broadcasted everywhere." Because I know y'all gonna talk like it ain't.
Because I know the executive producer gonna be all up in the
videos. Dancing.
No, that is real though that you say that, because we every day we'll talk. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk,
Yep.
and it's been something, me, Joe, and him as
And it's funny you even say that because there was a time, I would say for at least 20 years,
At least
every day
Every day.
I spoke to him.
every
For
single
20 years.
facts.
So I needed counseling every day for 20 years. But I talk to you about once a week, maybe once every other week now. Probably like once a week.
Once a week
Once
at
a
least.
week.
Yeah.
So, the testament is that, if you do it long enough, you won't need the counseling every day, but you're going to always need it.
Yeah.
you need that touch point. Gotta have that touch point.
Because not only am I telling him my issues elsewhere, he's probably telling me, nigga, you're wrong. You should have did this. You ever consider this? Nah, man, Reed, I'm not doing that shit, man.
But you know what? Not even you wrong, but we'll ask each other. All right, listen, man. I know I may be dead wrong on this, and I'm just gonna put it out there. But or I know I may be in my feelings
Hey, wait, hold on. I'm gonna let you finish that. But what happened, B?
on my arm.
Yeah,
Man, look at this.
I'm like, what?
Now this
What
is
50-year-old man gets scars still?
this is my wife. You talk about getting
Oh,
beat
wow.
up? Yeah, straight up. So, but it's a little different.
Okay.
So,
You didn't get beat up.
I brought this on to myself. Go ahead, say
man, we at this Juneteenth celebration, and my wife, with her competitive 4'11" self, she wants to race me down the blow up
I
slide.
already know this is going wrong.
So,
Because when last time you ran?
oh, I didn't run. You got to climb up
Oh,
these
okay,
little
I see,
blocks.
I see.
So first I'm like, are you serious? But no, being a good husband and wanting to take one for the team with these 52-year-old knees, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, bet. So we race up the joint. Now my wife's ultra competitive. She elbowing me all in my lane, not kicking me down. So that get me into the spirit. I'm
So
like,
you
oh,
start
okay, so
elbowing?
what we doing? No, I ain't elbow her, but so when we got to the slide, I slid down face first.
Oh.
And this was like, and I knew before I even looked, you know how you don't look at it? He's like, I know my arm fell off. I know I don't have an arm. And when I looked at it, it was just straight white meat, down to the white meat. So yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a
I
love
just had to
tap.
ask that. 'cause
Yeah,
it was-
I know. It's real.
It was
ugly.
strange that.
Yeah, it's love. It's all
I
that
know
is.
you weren't playing football or nothing.
Nah, you know I wasn't. I was watching it though.
But continue, Ray.
So yeah, we were just talking about.
Continue, right?
No, we just talking about how we chop it up and we have these conversations. So I want to kind of pivot and ask y'all: do you think that at this stage and at this age, what you've learned, do you think that women in general, I'm gonna make it general, know how to handle a man's vulnerability?
I don't think women know how to handle their own vulnerability.
So that's a no.
No.
Yeah, but the other side of it is I don't expect them to handle my vulnerability.
And when I say handle, let me be clear what I'm saying. So if you having a moment of unzip the heart and I'm just putting it out there. So right now, whatever you say to me, because of this moment that I'm being just raw vulnerable, whatever you say can really cut me deep.
And let me say this: we tend to talk generals. I want to make sure we're talking in general.
Yeah, generality. That's why I
there's
said
always those
Exceptions to the rule.
exceptions
Absolutely.
to the rule. So
And the reason I'm coming up with this question is because I've heard that. I've heard, guys say, I tried, man. I tried to say X, Y, and Z. And when I did, she was talking this way and blah, blah, blah. So you know what? I just told myself I ain't doing it again. And I get both sides. Being a relationship coach, I get the man side, I get the woman side. I get he just won't open up. He won't talk.
when the scriptures talks about love, what does it say? What's the first thing it says it is?
Love
Patient.
is patient.
Patient.
People lack patience. People lack patience.
So how does that relate to handling?
Because just because you're willing to be vulnerable,
Yeah.
you have to have patience with someone understanding or lack of understanding of that vulnerability. You can't expect, things to go perfectly every time. You know what I'm saying? If I'm vulnerable, I'm not vulnerable so you understand me. I'm vulnerable so that what's in me, I get out. Regardless of whether you understand it or not. It's out of me.
Okay.
And I think we always want someone to do something with our vulnerability. No, you just did it.
You put it out there.
You put it out there.
What do you think, Poop?
To answer the question, no, I don't think women are.
This nigga, you see what he did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see what he did? He don't even know he did it.
Yeah,
I just
yeah,
don't think. I don't think women are ready.
Star though.
I don't think they are.
Why?
I don't think they understand men enough to be vulnerable, to accept their vulnerability. Right? I think they know what they know. But at the same time, we're generalizing. I don't think a lot of men are comfortable being vulnerable either.
Okay.
So it's not often that men can sit down and just be not just vulnerable with women. Most time men can be vulnerable with men.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So us talking about friendship is because we have developed a relationship with one another that we can speak openly
Yeah.
with one another. But we're not going to do that with most guys we meet.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to,
Tried
keep
and
it at a
true.
level to where it's accepted and okay and just keep pushing.
Yeah.
But then to be vulnerable is like, okay, now I'm opening myself up to another level that I just don't let everybody in with. So, no, I don't expect that out of most women. I expect that with maybe my wife or someone that I've been in a relationship with for a while, but it still has to be trained for them to accept it.
Okay. So got to be some education. What about you, Joey? You think that
No. Next question. I would say no, and I think what you both said were good points. But what I've noticed, when men and women go through something, and they could go through something regarding some type of a relationship or a marriage, but later, I think they understand how to be more vulnerable, or also being respectful of the other person, the whole nine. Because even my recent divorce, let alone of just going through the healing process, it's taught me some stuff as well. It's taught me some stuff that, I did get a left and a right emotionally, to the point of, okay, so I know what to and what not to do, and hopefully be a little bit more observant, things like that.
So here's the deal, and I hate to do this, but when you're out here, you're dealing with the limitations of technology, and one of my cameras is hot. So yeah, we're gonna come back.
But did you have to say that? Because you could just edit it out.
Nah, because right here, this is gumbo. It's whatever.
Because I do have an important
announcement to make.
No.
A rebuttal. No, we can. Yeah, no. It's cool. The chairs are here.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
no. So we come
Say
back.
it now and come back.
No, we're gonna come back.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We'll come back.
We'll come back, man. This is,
You got a rebuttal?
It's open forum.
It ain't really even
no
a rebuttal.
rebuttal.
It's just something else to think about.
Yeah. So listen, we appreciate y'all for listening to this vulnerable panel. Man, this was good.
Also, we're not coming back?
We're not coming back today.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
the
Well, I
camera's
need to
hot.
say this.
Well, we gonna come back another day, and it'll be a part 2.
All right. Well,
Yeah, remember what it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to remember what I
remember
said.
what it is. And I know y'all want to hear it because y'all like, man, why you cut him off? But listen, man, y'all didn't pay for 2 hours. So, anywho, listen, we out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Join with my man's Sarat, always Joey, Poop, the celebs of the crew, and yours truly. I just hear, I turn the lights on, man, and I just turn the knobs. That's what I do, and they give me they let me hang around. So y'all take care. Y'all be good.
Peace.